Streamer Adin Ross gifted Sean O'Malley a custom pink lowrider for beating Cheeto Vera. Sean also sparred Adin and his friend at the same time.
Sean, I want to give them, even if I got 20, 30 minutes of your time, bro. I want to show them I'm going to place $300,000, $400,000 on you.
Crazy.
And you're going to win. And you know, I told you I was going to buy you a watch, but Sean, I want to buy you a car.
Really?
Yes.
That'd be crazy.
So when are you pulling up to the warehouse, my friend?
Take off the blindfold! No way!
Look, Jordan.
What? Bro!
That's real.
That's crazy! Bro, that's pimp! No.
That shit's too tough.
Bro, that is so pimp. Oh my god. I can just do that whenever, up and down like that.
Oh, you're gonna do all that.
Oh, I'm going you. Check 2 1. Bro, that's crazy.
That thing is hard.
That's crazy, bro. That is pure sugar. I love it. Look at that.
Pure sugar.
Oh.
He's too quick.
I swear I don't got my...
One minute.
Robert Whittaker previews the potential fight at UFC 305 between Dricus du Plessis and Israel Adesanya. Rob is not thrilled that Izzy is fighting for a title again, to say the least.
Yeah, I think Adesanya fighting for a title again hurts me.
Yeah.
It's like, but I understand. Dricus asked for it, right? He's a champ, gets what he wants. Adesanya's a draw, mate. Like, it seems like the fight that was going to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's an interesting fight. I can see Adesanya just piecing him up for 5 rounds. But in saying that, Dricus is tough as nails and he's awkward. I can also see Dricus getting in there and just making it awkward and you know, like, I don't know, taking him out of his rhythm. Because we saw when Adesanya fought Strickland pushing that pace and moving into his space changed the rhythm of the fight. Adesanya didn't adapt to that very well, and I think if Dricus does the same, he might have the same sort of success. But that coverage is for another episode.
Michael Bisping thinks that Khamzat Chimaev could be in for a disastrous night against Robert Whittaker. Bisping says that Khamzat needs to finish Rob early.
If I'm not mistaken, this will be the first 5-round scheduled bout for Khamzat Chimaev.
Not first one scheduled, but probably the first one he's actually going to make it to. Because remember, he was scheduled for a main event against Nate Diaz and then missed it by about 10 pounds or so.
Yeah, sure. But so the first 5-round fight that he's been in, which automatically, if you're in the corner of Khamzat Chimaev, you got to be concerned. One thing Robert Whittaker's not going to do is run out of gas. He's very, very experienced, fighting at the highest level for the long time. Without getting into the X's and O's, the obvious thing is Khamzat always gasses. He's a tremendous force of nature. I mean, the way he takes people down and dominates them right from the opening bell. I mean, he did the same thing against Kamaru Usman. Granted, didn't get the finish, but he definitely did slow down. Against Gilbert Burns, same thing. He had a great round 1, 2 and 3 were kind of close. 5 rounds against somebody like Robert Whittaker. If he can't finish him early, that could be a disastrous night for him in Saudi Arabia. The reality is it's a bloody fight and anything can happen, and it's a good fight. It's a very, very good fight.
Daniel Cormier warns Colby Covington about Ian Gary. DC says despite what people say about Ian, he can fight, and Colby must respect his skill level.
Because regardless of what you think of Ian Gary, I know a lot of people get annoyed with him. And it seems like the world has changed on this young man. They've turned on him. He can fight. He can fight. It don't matter what you think about someone's personality or anything. You have to respect the skill level. And Ian Gary has a really high level of skill. He does. Colby Covington, after the fight with Leon Edwards, may not be looking forward to being in there with another long-range striker. Just might not be. He just might not be. But the actions say let's fight. Now it's time to put pen to paper. We have got to find a way now to get these athletes locked into an octagon to fight each other. That's just the way it is. They have to fight. They have to fight. Because when you hurl the insults and you say that man's name and you constantly talk about him, his life outside the octagon, when you now start taking personal shots at Colby's political views, the way that he feels on that side, things that matter to Colby Covington, now you got to fight. I believe that International Fight Week works perfect. I don't know that there's enough time now for Colby Covington to accept the fight.
Sean Strickland and Jorge Masvidal are setting up a sparring match. Sean commented on Jorge's post on Instagram. He said, "Let's spar next Saturday," and Jorge reposted it. Sean reposted Jorge's repost, and he wrote, "Not this Saturday, but next it's going down. Can't wait." Frank Mir believes he was drastically underpaid for fighting Brock Lesnar. Frank and Brock fought twice. First in 2008, where Frank won via knee bar in the first round. The two met again in 2009, and Brock won via TKO in the second round. Speaking to MMAfighting.com, Frank said, "I think when it finally dawned on me was the Deontay Wilder rematch with Tyson Fury. We still did more buys than they did, me and Brock. And then I'm looking at the pay-per-view cost. Okay, the money was there. Who did it go to? Seeing these guys made $40 million combined. I'm like, wow. Brock obviously made 7 figures off it. I think he made 2.5 million, but I didn't even make $1 million. Brock himself, a much bigger superstar than Fury or Wilder. How come he wasn't making 20 million? That blows my mind, and I don't understand it. Until Conor McGregor came along, we had the record for the most pay-per-view buys sold. At the time, I didn't know better. We didn't know. Just now as time goes on, I'm looking around like, hold on a second. That makes no sense. A pay-per-view buy is a pay-per-view buy. Why is this sport paying their athletes this percentage of what they're making versus this one? It's the pretty same makeup. This isn't two wildly different sports, boxing and MMA. They're very comparable when it comes to putting up a cage or a ring, so it's not like the costs are different. So what's the difference here? Oh, that's because you have competing promoters, and they know what's going on, and you can't screw each other. In the UFC, it's the only promoter. In MMA, the show is the only promoter. It's not like we're going to have a Bellator fighter and a UFC fighter, and they're both on the card, so both organizations know what they're going to get their guy because they both understand the revenue models. They understand what's going on. They're not speaking from ignorance. And that's going to wrap it up for the news. Thanks for watching. For daily MMA news and content, subscribe to Full Mount MMA and click the bell icon to be notified when we post videos. Here are the 3 top comments from last video. The first one's from Josh T9057. Says, "Whenever Anthony Smith gives an opinion, I usually skip that section." Noted. The second one's from Nate Marks. Says, "Just a quick reminder that Holly made Ronda have a pity party to Ellen after the KO defeat." And the final one says, "Ronda was always jaded. I don't know why people are surprised." Those were the 3 top comments from last video. If you want to be featured in the next one, all you have to do is comment down below. And if you missed yesterday's news, click the video on screen right now to get caught up.